you on your, your bravery and your tenacity from getting through those rough times, those difficult times after your dad passed. So, once again, man, kudos to you for having the courage to get through that.
No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it was y'all, close friends and family that, got me through the tough time. Like I said, even when I wasn't having the best attitude, y'all still stuck in there with me, spent time with me, made me laugh, did things that I like to do. So I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be able to get through without y'all.
Yeah, man, absolutely. The one thing I remember that you loved to do was fishing. You used to take me and AJ fishing with you all the time during those times afterwards. And of course, knowing me, I ain't had the patience to sit there and wait for you. But that was some fun times, fishing with you and stuff.
Yeah, man, I miss it. Yeah, but I still got a lot of my fishing stuff. I haven't been out in the water out here in Cali because, of course, like we got youngers and we really don't know all the fishing spots. But yeah, that's what I definitely plan to do is take my family fishing for sure.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And so, I'm sure there's people that are probably going through some turmoil, some rough times right now. If you could offer any piece of advice to them, what kind of words would you say to them?
I would definitely say don't shut yourself out. Don't be like me. Reach out to your friends and say, I'm going through this, but I can't do it by myself. And you shouldn't feel like you're going through something by yourself. You should always have somebody to go to, whether it be a counselor, whether it be a tutor or a mentor that you look up to. Always go to someone because holding all of that in yourself is never healthy, and it's just only going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I've definitely had those days, and of course, I'm still learning to, reach out and talk to people because I've had those days, and I've had those moments where I literally just felt like just screaming and just smashing stuff because it just seemed like nobody really understood my pain and what I was going through. But definitely, like you said, reaching out to your community and talking to people, that really does help deal with all those negative emotions.
Definitely. And then when I felt as though like I couldn't reach anyone, like me personally, like I like to listen to music, and I would work out because, like you said, like physical, just being like physical, working out and stuff, like it helps relieve stress that you have, especially because you can be able to like you can run, or if you have to lift, you can lift. Whatever workout you like to do, it's like a release.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you work out and stuff, that's basically dopamine is being released in the brain. It's almost like it's pleasure, right? You're getting pleasure in doing that, and you're actually doing something, that's productive. So definitely, running with me has helped. Obviously, I can't do it now because it's been so cold out, and I don't want to get sick or nothing like that. But
Right.
I have other activities too, like writing and coloring, and of course, sitting in front of a microphone doing a podcast with my best friend. Like all that stuff
Hey,
is just therapeutic.
well, I'm glad, man. Like I said, I know I'm all the way out here, but hey, you can always call me. Like we can talk, chat it up, whatever it takes. You, I don't care if I'm on the phone for 5 hours. It don't matter to me.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And so, shifting gears from that, I want to move on to your high school years at Huntingtown High. What was that experience like from your point of view?
Definitely like the beginning, freshman year was rough, like I had just lost my father 8th grade. And, I'm starting high school and it's new and it's scary. And like, I wasn't sure, what I was going how good I was going to do and stuff, but I had the same, great support system and I had a mentor. His name was Mr. Kimball, all 4 years of high school, he helped me out. And, I graduated. But of course there was like, some rough times in between, of course. But I mean, graduating, it was definitely like a great feeling because, I knew that my dad would want to see me do that. And, to be able to accomplish that, I felt really accomplished. And right after high school, that's when I had enlisted and I went into the military.
Yeah, that's cool that you were able to keep your dad in the back of your mind while you were working towards that goal because you knew that is what he wanted of you to accomplish, and you never let go of that dream and you kept pushing on despite those hard times.
Like, it was definitely difficult, not gonna lie. But like I said, I had a great support system. My friends didn't let me fail. My family didn't let me fail. Of course, they would let me grieve. And they would say, today was a rough day. They would let me calm down and they would be there. But they always gave me my space and stuff. So all of that I really appreciate.
Yeah. Besides Mr. Kimbrough, did you have any other mentors at Huntingtown that really helped you out during your 4 years there?
So definitely I gotta give credit to Ms. Wallace. She helped me out a lot. Like I said, we didn't really see eye to eye in the beginning, but after that, after I matured some, and I found out the type of lady she was, like she definitely helped me out a lot, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, funny story. I ran into Miss Wallace probably about a year and a half ago at the bank, and I was like, "Hey, Miss Wallace, you remember me?" She was like, "No, I don't remember you." I was like, "Oh
Oh,
man," I was like, "Come on, I'm sad. I used to be in Mr. Kimbrough's class." She was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember your face." I was like, "Damn, man, she didn't remember me."
rude much? She was rude though, for real. That's why we didn't see eye to eye in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Touch on that moment, cause I love that story.
All right, cool, no problem. So, our first initial, first time meeting each other, I was coming from one area of Huntingtown, and you couldn't go to this one hallway without a pass. So, I tried to go through being me, because I was like, whatever. And I was like, she stopped me, she was like, you need a pass. And I was like, okay, cool. So, I go back, and then I scribble on a piece of paper, and then I come back, and I'm like, here's my pass. And I just keep walking, and she's like, not allowed to move, I guess, or whatever. So she's just there, and then she's like, hey, come back here, hey. And I just kept walking or whatever, not thinking much of it. I'm getting to Mr. Kimbrough's classroom, and then come to find out that's Mr. Kimbrough's aide. And one day I was having a tough time in math class, and Mr. Kimbrough wasn't in there, and she was the only one in there. And she was like, well, listen, I'm going to let you sit here and calm down. But then she was like, I'll help you do your math work. So then, I was sitting down, I calmed down, she helped me do my math work. And then she was just saying how, we got off on the wrong foot, but now hopefully we can have a better relationship. And then after that day, me and her were cool as a fan. Like, if I went to Mr. Kimmel's class and he wasn't there, I would always kick it with Miss Wallace. I wouldn't let any other kids disrespect her and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing to have those moments where you're trying to reach out to someone and that person isn't there, but it's like God puts another person in that place, and it's like you think you shouldn't talk to that person, but at the same time, you feel in your presence and you feel it in your gut that maybe you should, let your guards down for a little bit and talk to that person. And then once it happens, it's like you have a new ally, a new person to confide in with your issues.
Right.
Yeah, because I had that issue too, where I didn't really think I could talk to one of my supervisors at work. I was going through something, and I was looking for one of my other ones, and she wasn't there. So I was like, well, I really have this on my mind. I don't want to walk out, feeling all this dread and all this worry. So I guess I might as well talk to her. And we had an incredible 25 to 30-minute conversation in her office, and it's like I left out of there feeling way better than I did going into it. So I think it's beautiful how God just places people in your life for the right moment or the right season.
Exactly. We might not know what that person's purpose is in our life, but God already knows, and He's already worked it out.
Yeah, exactly. And so, talk to me about your decision to join the military because obviously, after high school, everybody has different options with either going to college or going straight into the workforce. So, what made you choose the military?
After, graduating high school, I felt like that was a huge accomplishment for me. And, I never forget the conversation that I had with the recruiter. They had came to the school, it was like early in my junior year. And, I was lucky, young kid. And I was like, they were like, so, what do you want to do after high school? And I was like, oh, I'm going to college. And they were like, oh, yeah, how's it going to get paid for? And, I was kind of like, and they were like, yeah, don't worry. We'll see you in our office, before the end of the year. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't want to join. So, some time went by, and my brother had actually decided to join, and I had just went with him. He was like, yeah, let's go talk to the recruiter real quick, because we went to stop by Wawa, which if you're familiar with the Prince Frederick area, Wawa is right next to the recruiter station. So I was like, all right, man, I'll go in there with you, but I'm not joining. So, my brother was talking to him, and he was like, how do I go about joining? What do I need to do? Whoopie-woo. And, then the staff sergeant asked me, he was like, hey, what about you? And I was like, no, I'm not joining the military. It's not for me. I'm going to college. And then, some more time had passed. I hadn't talked to recruiters, none of that. And it was the end of my junior year. And, I was like, oh, my goodness, this came so fast. What am I going to do? So I went back to the recruiter, and I was like, hey, let's talk. Let's see what options I have. Let's see what's going on type of thing. And, we found my first MOS. And I was like, if I can graduate high school, I'm pretty sure I can graduate basic training. I know it's a different type of challenge, but hey, I'm up for it. I wanted the structure and the discipline and all that. So that's how I joined, and then got to basic, graduated same day as my dad's birthday. It's pretty funny.
Oh,
That was the
wow.
day we graduated basic. And then after that, I went on to AIT for my first OS, which I had actually failed out of. I didn't pass the course. So, I had felt, what's the word I'm looking for? I felt really discouraged, and I was like, maybe I made the wrong choice. And then I ended up, getting a different MOS, and I really liked it, and I still do. So, it was a lot of hard times, difficult, but, I'm definitely grateful for the experience because it landed me where I am today.
Yeah. Did you feel as if you needed more discipline and structure in your life going into joining the military?
I wouldn't say, definitely structure, not so much discipline. I would say, I was a teenager, so there
Right,
was,
right.
a rebellious, energy that I had, but it wasn't really that I wasn't disciplined, but I just figured, I didn't have my dad in my life anymore, and I wasn't quite an adult, so I was like, how can I get more discipline, how can I be more structured in life and more prepared for the real world? So I figured, instead of being in student college debt and stuff, I was like, let me just join the military and they'll pay for my college.
Yeah, exactly. And you are very, disciplined. I think you have a very disciplined mind, more disciplined than I am, that's for sure. But I can definitely see you needing, I guess, more structure and guidance in your life. Because, you lost your father at such a young age, so I can definitely resonate with that.
Right. I feel like, he was definitely one that instilled a lot of discipline into me. And, not saying that my mom didn't, but,
Yeah.
as a boy, you need, a man, to really, instill it into you, and, kind of knock you upside the head sometimes when you mess up. And, I never was disrespectful to my mom after his passing. But I just know when it came to, other men that would try to even, if I felt as though they were trying to be like a father figure, or if I felt like they were trying to tell me what to do, I just be defiant. I wouldn't listen. Because I was like, there's never going to be another man that's going to even take the place of my father, so don't even bother trying, or don't even act like you're going to tell me what to do. And that was kind of my attitude. And, I kept that same attitude, even when I had initially gotten the basic training, it was a hard time for me to listen to what the girl sergeants were saying, and eventually I just got broken down so I could be built back up.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, really, in the military. They try to, I guess, weed out the weak ones, and then for the ones that do have the mind for it, they break it down, and then they just build you back up into the man you're supposed to become.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Talk to me about the relationship with your Aunt Doll. Obviously, she's basically a mother figure to you, or she's basically your mother in a sense, but, what does she really mean to you?
Well, she's definitely the woman that I call mom. Like you said, that is my aunt, but I call her mom. She raised me even before my dad's passing. They had raised me together. But after his passing, she officially adopted me. And, it was no different. She'd always been that mother figure, but except now it was solely her. And she raised two boys, not just one. So, with whatever my brother had, I had the same thing. She put clothes on my back for years. She was the one that, took days off from work when I wasn't feeling well, and et cetera. And she was just there, and I appreciate it because, she has a lot to do with why I'm the man I am today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I remember when, when my dad passed, she came over to the house about a few days afterwards and she dropped off a card. She gave me some nice things in there. And I was just like, man, this woman is just incredible because she didn't even have to do that. But yet she still looks at me as one of her sons. So I really did appreciate that from her.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely a very giving woman.
And she also let, me and AJ over there too afterwards when he passed because we had never been over at your house prior to that. But it's like after that time period, it's like we were always over there in your room playing video games or watching you do some crazy stuff on the dirt bike and just chilling.
Right. Yeah, it's like after my dad passed, I guess she had realized that I'm going to need my friends now more than ever, to kind of get me out of this, I guess you could say, funk that I was in, the mindset that I had. She was like, he's going to need, more support. His friends need to have the opportunity, come over here, hang out, lift his spirits. And, I appreciate her for, allowing you guys to come into her home, because that was just a really tough time, but you guys made it, worthwhile.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And so, shifting gears from that, I want you to talk to me about your time in basic training, right? I know you touched on it a little bit where, they broke it down a little bit, but how was that experience when you look back on it now?
Oh man, looking back, I would definitely do it again with the same people, no doubt. It was looking back, it was great. It was actually fun. It was life changing, because physically I wasn't in shape at the time, and then mentally I wasn't tough. I wasn't prepared for the real world. But after basic training, it just was like completely different. Like I wish I could actually go back. I'd do it again. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Knowing now, what I know. If I knew then what I knew now, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, what a crazy time! Like, it's crazy to think that that was like 3 to 4 years ago, but it seems like it was an eternity. But it wasn't that long ago that you were just starting off in the real world. Me and AJ was still cutting our teeth in high school, getting ready to get out. Like, it's just crazy how much the time is going by fast.
It really is.
Yeah, I'm hip. And I would say that, before you and Aljanea got together, became married, you were kind of in a difficult place, I'd say, when you came back home from the reserves. Talk to me about that time period.
Definitely. So, no problem at all. So, after I came back, I got done training. Like I said, I failed out, so I was there longer than I was supposed to be, which really bummed me out. But got it together. I passed the next MOS that I had to do, and when I came home, I was just like buck wild. I was 18, so I was like, I can do what I want. I don't need my mom to do this, or that. So, very first thing I did when I came home was I got my first tattoo. Um, and pretty much I didn't work for like the first, I want to say 2 months I was home. Pretty much just hung out with all my friends, called up, party, and stuff like that. I had went to go visit my mom, and I was like, hey, Aunt Dole, like, how's it going and stuff? And she was like, yeah, I'm doing fine. And she was just like, so you're going to like go to work, or what are you going to do? You got to do something. You need income. You're going to run out of your army money soon. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So, I got a job doing landscaping, and that was cool, for a minute. And then I actually went to a different company, still doing the same thing. And, some time went by, and I was doing like the same old thing. And then towards the end of 2018, everyone had his party, and, that's when Ajne and I had got together afterwards. And ever since then, it was just nowhere but up, She pulled me out of a dark place, doing the same old. And, she showed me, really what the world had in store for me
Yeah,
if I
exact.
was
Yeah.
willing to work for it.
Like, I remember during those times too where, I see you doing your thing and all that. And, it's hard for me to, try to say something because you don't want to be disrespectful or be out of line, right? When you out here doing your thing. But,
Right.
it was definitely cool that Aljanea kind of pulled you out of that rut and kind of showed you your purpose and what, your life was in store and the blessings that God was going to show you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so, shifting gears from that, around that time period also, she had became pregnant with your first child, Simone. Talk to me about that experience, right? How did that affect you knowing that you were about to become a father?
That was definitely a really big wake up call, because as a as a young man, hearing that news, I was like, okay, now I really have to strap my big boy boots on, get ready to be a dad, and I have a lot to learn because I had little cousins, I had younger people in my family, but I was like, to have your own kid, that's completely different. And, some time it went by and we found out, we were having a girl, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I always joked when I was younger that my first kid would be a girl. This is so awesome, I'm going to have so much fun. But yeah, it was like overall, like the day she was born, like I'll never forget it. I was like, I actually seen her for the first time. I was like bawling my eyes out. And, they had to let me sit down. They were like, so you have to sit down so you can hold her. And I was like, okay. And, like I held her for the first time, and it was just like that's when like everything had felt like really real. And I was like, oh my goodness, like pretty soon we're gonna be taking the little girl home.
Yeah, Yeah, it was pretty surreal when I had first heard the news. Like me and AJ was just chilling, and everyone was like, "Yo, come to the hospital. Nate's in the hospital." I was like, "Uh oh, like what happened?" And then everyone told us in the hospital room that she was pregnant. We was like, "What?" Like it was very surreal, but it was incredible also at the same time. Just seeing how you had progressed in life and you had gotten to that point.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Yep. And so I know that parents, when they have their children for the first time, they talk about this love that they have for this person that they created. And, it's unreal. Talk to me about that love that you have for Simone and Rodney.
Oh, for sure. Like it's like you said, it's unreal. There's no limit. You just want the best for them, and just watching them grow, it's really amazing. Because it feels like just yesterday, Simone was Rodney's size, and now Simone's one. She's like walking around, she's learning words. It's crazy how fast they grow up, and you just want to cherish, every moment and every milestone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to see how big Simone is getting. She looks just like you, but now it's like those features are so like prominent.
Right? No, no doubt. Definitely, Rodney looks exactly like him.
Yeah, I know. Those are your kids, man. You can't deny them jokers.
No, no, no way.
And so, like, sitting here talking with you, my next question to you is, what are some of the things that you expect out of Simone and Rodney? Like, what are some of the things you want them to achieve in their life?
I mean, I definitely want them to retrieve, whatever dreams they have, set in their minds. I want to see them do great. I feel like every parent wants, their children to do better than they did, make better choices. But obviously, they're going to have to make their own and learn from their own mistakes. But just want them to know that I'll always be here to talk to them, if they ever need advice and things of that nature.
Yup, and they got a bunch of uncles and aunts too that got their back also.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I know you're gonna be planning on coming back home soon around the East Coast. Not exactly Maryland, but more in the Virginia area. Those are some of your plans. Is that where you want to stay at, or do you also want to continue to travel? The world.
No, for sure. Once we get to Virginia, that's where we want to settle and really grow our, well, not grow, but, continue, with our family and be settled, that's where we want to raise our kids. And, both of us have been, jumped around a lot, me because of the military and, Arjane as well. She's jumped around, she's moved around a lot. So, we both agreed that, once we finally get to Virginia, that's where we definitely want to stay and, like, put roots down, watch our family grow, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can respect that. Keep them in one area. Don't always try to shake their life up, right? I can respect that.
Yeah, like if they get older, and they decide, to go off to college, or even if they do decide, to choose the military, I just hopefully they choose Air Force or Navy, but hey, if they choose to do that, move on and move away, then I'd be fine with it. I'm not gonna just be a helicopter parent or be one of those parents that try to hold on.
Right, exactly. What's the one piece of advice that your dad taught you that you want to instill in both your kids?
If I could just choose one, I would say, learning how to do things yourself, being independent is a very good trait to have because you never know when you're going to have a situation where you have to be, you have to do things by yourself because, my dad would always raise me, to be independent. He would teach me how to do things myself. And, he would always say, I may not always be here, or, one day I'm not going to be here, so you have to know how to do this. And, hearing that as a young kid, I was like, yeah, but, you're going to be here until I'm this age or that age, and that was my thought, but losing him at such a young age, I'm definitely grateful for everything he's taught me, how to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really good to teach those skills of independence to children. Like, I'm sure I touched on it earlier, but your dad taught you the gift of cars and mechanics. That's something I wish I learned when I was a kid cuz now I'm just learning how to change the oil in my car or take a tire off my car and do all of these different things. So, I think it's incredible that you had those independent skills as a child, and that's something that I really admire about your character and how you go about things.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man, for sure. And so, my final question to you before I go ahead and let you go is if you could offer a piece of advice to, your former self from maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, what would you say to that person?
I mean, I would say, like, you gotta get it together. You can't waste your life, being sad. You can't waste your life just doing whatever you want to do. You gotta really look forward, where do you see yourself in 5 years, where do you see yourself in 10 years. And don't just settle. Always try to do better, always try to learn more. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that. Like, I guess sometimes I go through those emotions too, where it's just, sadness. It's almost like I got this dark gray cloud that hovers over me. And it's like, I'm supposed to feel those emotions, but it's like, how do I get that cloud out from over top me so I can continue, pressing on and doing the things that I love to do? But, like you said, it's all about shifting your perspective and changing the way, you view things. And that comes with, grounding yourself, trying to stay present, and just talking to people.
Exactly, right.
Yup. Well, JB, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know we had some technical difficulties the last time, but this was great, and I know you're going to continue to do great things in this world. I'm so proud of where God has placed you in your life, and God bless you and God bless the kids.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yep.
I look forward to being back on the show again for sure.
Yes, sir. As soon as you come back home, me, you, and AJ, we're going to do a round table. We just going to shoot the breeze, talk about some dumb stuff.
I'm with it. I can't wait, man.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care, bro.
All right. You do the same.
Yep. All right, y'all. This wraps up this edition of the CedTalks Podcast. Remember to stay blessed and stay encouraged. And, of course, I'll be with y'all again soon. So, thank you.